Hello, welcome to Arizona ALFA's Policy Update. I'm Karen Barney, your host. Today is January 26th, the last Friday of the month. We have a lot of bills to cover, a lot of actions taking place. The last day for bill drop was a couple days ago, so now we have to pay attention to the striker wire. We'll explain strikers in a little bit because that will have an impact upon us this year. If you're interested in participating on our Public Policy Committee, and we do wish you would, it's a virtual meeting. It's done on Zoom. We meet on the every Thursday at 10 a.m. Belinda Ratter with Clearwater. Clearwater is the chair of the committee. And you kind of get to go over the bills and hear the debate and the discussion, because sometimes the committee meeting will take 20 minutes, and the last one I think was well over an hour and a half because we had so many bills to debate, because the committee tells the association where they think we should stand, and then we go to the board and say, okay, this is where the committee believes that we should take a stand at. Do you agree or disagree? So hope you join that. And if you're not a member of Arizona ALFA right now and you're watching this video because somebody sent it to you, this is a time to get engaged in your association. As a voice of assisted living, we represent the assisted living centers and professionally managed homes. And this is the time, because it is like, since the stuff with Heritage Village has broke over the past couple years, this year people are really paying attention to assisted living, and this is when you need to have your voice be heard. So let's get going here on the bills. We get a packet from our board, from our lobbyist, Janet Day with Arizona Policy Connect. So we'll go through that as quickly as we can. First one is House Bill 2226, Nursing Care Institution Advisory Council. This is filed by Representative Longden. Representative Longden resigned yesterday, late in the day. It was a shock to everybody. She's done at 4 o'clock today. She's always been an advocate. As somebody that was accidentally shot in a drive-by shooting, and she's wheelchair bound. She's been in and out of nursing cares, nursing homes, assisted living, so she has a fantastic perspective. So she will be missed. The advisory council is to run parallel with the NCA board. So they'd have this advisory council sitting here, and they would have their issues that they would take to the NCA board, which is the board for assisted living managers. If you get a deficiency at the Department of Health Services, the NCA board holds your license. You have to go over there to meet with them. And it seems this, over the past year, if you are sent to enforcement, and it seems like a lot of deficiencies are now being sent to enforcement, you also have to go over to the NCA board to talk about your manager's license. And if you want us to go with you, or if you have any questions, please call us so we can help you before you get in front of the board. So we're kind of monitoring this bill to see what happens to it. She also is running House Bill 2227 about staffing ratios within nursing care. Our issue with this is there's a lot of different, she has caregivers and CNAs mixed together. And as you know, in Arizona, we don't have CNAs in assisted living because they can't pass meds, and all of our caregivers have to pass meds. So if you are a CNA and you want to work in assisted living, fantastic, welcome over, but you have to take the bridge course through any one of the training sites. And if you don't know a training place to go to, just give me a call and I'd be happy to refer a couple. So that's kind of our issue right there with the bill. And she also wants to staff, I think, 1 to 6. So we have concerns just with the language, with the mixing, and obviously with staffing ratios. Also, House Bill 2231, Nursing Care Institution Medical Directors. That's not us. It seemed like it is, and it's complicated, but it's not. Our first success of 2024 is House Bill 2249, Residential Care Institution Inspection. This requires ADHS to inspect residential care institutes regardless of if they have accreditation. So if you have a CARF accreditation, this would require the Department of Health Services to still come in once a year and survey you. We explained to Representative Carter, and again today to Representative Dunn, that the CARF process is much more stringent than a survey. So it's redundant. And on top of that, there's nothing that keeps the Department of Health Services out. If they want to come in every year versus every 2 years with CARF, they're more than welcome to come in our communities anytime. So we were carved out of that. He meant to hit the behavioral health. And a lot of people get confused, and we'll talk about it briefly with sober living. You have behavioral health, you have behavior care. Assisted living has behavioral care. Behavioral health sits in a different place. House Bill 2215 by Representative Contreras, assisted living facility ownership and employees. It prohibits ADHS from licensing a community. Say you have a center that you want to sell. They're saying you can't sell it if you have any enforcement action pending against the current license to get out of paying the fine. Our response back was, it takes a while to sell a center. It's not like an assisted living home that you could, in theory, sell overnight. In a center, you can't. And somebody's not going to sell their building to get out from under fines. That doesn't make sense. The hospital association was at the same meeting we were. They agreed. So we'll see where this goes. But hopefully it just kind of doesn't go anywhere. House Bill 2317, continuing care automated defibrillators. This is Representative Grice, and it's for CCRCs to have defibrillators within the CCRC environment. The challenge with the defibrillators, as you all know, an example the residents that wanted this give is you have them in the airport. You also have a lot of paramedics in the airport and probably a zillion doctors, nurses, and everybody else running around because it's an airport. Defibrillating is not as easy as people make it sound. You don't just open it up, charge it up, and go, phew. You have to know how to use a defibrillator. If not, you can create bad burns. If they have a pacemaker and you defibrillate them wrong, that's the end of that. As somebody who's a medic in the military, I'm very familiar with defibrillators. They're not as easy as they sound. Let's leave the defibrillators to the experts. So it's not that we're opposing that bill. We're just kind of trying to explain to Representative Grice the downfall of that bill. House Bill 2267, access. This is undocumented individuals, Representative Sandoval. It will allow individuals who are unable to provide documented verification of qualified alien status to still apply for access pending available appropriations. So if they can't prove that they have their qualified alien status, which if the money's there, then they can get some. I'm doing a lot of talking today. House Bill 2494. This is more for your nurses out there, and I'm going to kind of read it word for word so you understand what the bill is. It's Nursing Board Licensure Appropriate by Representative Bliss. It provides an expedited APRN license or certificate if the applicant holds a current APRN license in another state. This is the association's version of accomplishing a similar result to the APRN compact bill, which doesn't take effect until a certain number of bills pass, a certain number of states pass it. And it also allows an RN to replace an LPN on the nursing board if a qualified LPN cannot be identified within 90 days of the vacancy. And if you want to check it out, you go to Arizona azleg.gov and type in House Bill 2494 for your nurses, and it'll explain it better. And if you have questions, feel free to call me. House Bill 2505, assisted living refunds escrow account. This is another CCRC bill run by Representative Grice. This amends the statutes governing life care contracts requiring an entrance fee. We are monitoring this bill. We are kind of letting our Arizona Leading Age take the charge because they're much more familiar with CCRCs and the contracting process than we are. So we'll keep you up to date on it, but Leading Age is taking the charge. House Bill 2567, sober living behavioral health. This is another where people get confused. This is living behavioral care in Arizona, not behavioral health. So we're just kind of taking a peek-see at that one to see what happens. House Bill 2587, Adult Protective Service reporting records. This is to raise the cap on fines from $500 to $1,000. We met with Representative Dunn this morning before I got back to the office about this. And the challenge is when DHS leaves this and they're done with the survey, they have 10 days to give you your SOD, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. Sometimes it could be weeks, months before you receive your SOD. And according to this, you'd be on the clock for $1,000 a day. And so when Representative Dunn thought about it, he's like, well, even if there's a 10-day, just 10 days, that's $10,000 that the community's already, on the hook for. And we explained if the communities understood what the deficiency was, then a lot of them will fix it before they go. We are talking about putting together a matrix. And if you're familiar with the nursing home side, and I'm going to be honest, I'm not all that familiar with the SNF side, they have a matrix, and each block tells you if you have a deficiency here, this is what's going to happen. A deficiency here, this is what would happen. We're proposing that we have that in assisted living. So we can look at the matrix and say, okay, they said we were missing a fingerprint. That sits on this part of the matrix, so it's not a big deal, or it sits over here and it's going to be finable. That way providers know out the gate the scope and severity of it. So if you want more information, give me a call. We're just starting the dialogue on it with the other two associations because, as you know, Leading Age and ALFA represent more nursing homes than we do. Well, we don't represent any of them. They represent nursing homes, and we pretty much do the assisted living, so we're going to work together on that. House Bill 2653 is the camera bill. If you have any questions about the camera bill, give me a call. It's very confusing. We're monitoring it. I won't say we're opposing it. We're definitely not supporting it. But we're still kind of, our lobbyist is still guiding us on this bill. And I talked about referral agencies, I believe, Senate Bill 1086. There are assisted living referral agencies where nobody should be allowed to own your name. So if you get up at 2 in the morning and you type trying to find an assisted living community and they send you their pamphlet, well, now that whoever was the online group now owns your name for the next year. This is saying nobody can own your name. Whoever does the placement gets the money. Last, but certainly not least, is the Alzheimer's memory draft legislation. This is being sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association. We don't have the language on this. Senator Shope is the one running this bill. He missed the filing deadline, so this is going to come as a striker. And strikers, you got to pay attention because they can do a striker up until 5 minutes before they finally die on the very last day and put slip language. And that's why lobbyists hate the last couple of days of session because they get to stay down there because they don't know if a striker is going to hit or not. I don't think Senator Shope will do that. I think he'll file the striker and we'll kind of know what's going on. But to let you know what the Alzheimer's Association is suggesting in their regulating of assisted living. They want to change the definition of Alzheimer's assisted living facility caregiver. The definition's fine. I'm not sure why they want to rewrite it. Dementia, memory care services, and memory care center. They want to propose a acuity staffing tool. And this acuity staffing tool, basically staffing ratios, is you figure out the acuity level of each resident and then put it into a pot together and figure out how you to staff your building. In Arizona, we staff according to scheduled and unscheduled needs, met and unmet needs, however you want to say it. So we have to anticipate our residents' needs. So if you have a part of your community where all the residents are pretty much roaming around, not roaming around, bad word, they're independent, maybe they're in assisted living, but they're fully aware of their mental capacities. Their mental capacity is fine, then you may only have 1 or 2 caregivers there. If you're on a memory care wing where you have the acuity staff level very high, where you have a lot of different forms of memory care and it's a secured unit, you're going to staff differently. So acuity staffing tool is not going to tell us how to staff any better. In fact, meeting their scheduled and unscheduled needs is definitely a much better way to staff. So we clearly oppose the acuity staffing tool. They want to minimum requirements for memory care services. They want to have minimum training requirements. Folks, we have no problems with training. The more training, the better, especially when it comes to memory care because it's ever evolving, it's ever changing. And we have told the association, the Alzheimer's Association, at numerous times that we completely have no problem with training. I'm not sure our volunteers need 4 hours of training because they're volunteers, but for our staff and our EDs, absolutely. They want to have a disclosure form that you file annually with the Department of Health Services. They want to change medications. They basically want to redo assisted living. Here's the bottom line. The assisted living rules were written and completed about 2001. And we have supervisory, personal, and direct. And you guys, if you follow these videos, you hear this all the time. Supervisory, hands off. We have 2 or 3 buildings. Personal is aging in place, and the direct level was meant to be memory care. And the initial view of that was if you have a secure memory care unit within your building, that secured 20-bed memory unit would be direct, and the rest of your building would be personal because that's aging in place. Well, over the years, the Department of Health Services changes, the surveyors change, their view of it changes, and it just kind of got mishy-mashy. We have talked to the Alzheimer's Association and said, let's open the rule package. Let's go to the department, ask them to open the rule package, and let's sit down and look at the direct level of care and get a good group of stakeholders, a good group of memory experts, and let's look at it. They are insistent that it has to be put into statute. I'm not sure why, and negotiating is not going to be first and foremost. They said they're willing to make tweaks, but they want to keep everything else in here. They want to tell you how to market and advertise your community. They want to have, as I said earlier, they want to have a definition of memory care, how you're going to advertise, and how you're going to charge for the community. So they also want to talk about that as well. As we've said, there's 110 types of memory care issues, and there's going to be a lot more coming. Besides Alzheimer's, you have frontotemporal, you have Lewy body, you have a lot, FTD, a lot of these coming up. So this is going to be an evolving playing field. So when we change the direct care rules today, we have to be cognizant that we're going to probably have to look at it every year or two if it's a memory care issue to make sure that we keep up with what everything's taking place. But to just say we need to throw it out and start over and do it all in statute, I'm not sure about that. But again, they do like to tell you how to advertise, their staffing tool. But, you know, also they want to, in your disclosure, they want you to do a description of the physical aspect of the memory care center and unit design functions. So you'll have to go to like a Luann over at Tomaholic Design and say, hey, Luann, give us a description. Until we see language, actual language, it's going to be hard to say. We've been talking to Senator Shope about this. Again, we are not opposed to training. We are not opposed to looking at the rules and seeing how we can tweak and update and upgrade in the rules. But when you put it in statute, it doesn't make sense because all of assisted living stuff is over in rule. So we will keep you notified of this, of what they're doing. As you know, Arizona ALFA will always keep in mind who our residents are. We keep in mind that they have the right to be treated with dignity, respect, and independence. These aren't kids we're taking care of. These are human beings that for their whole life, they came and went as they chose. And all of a sudden, because their body has taken over, their mind has taken over, and they're not thinking as clearly as they can, they're still not children. And they still demand and deserve the respect that Arizona ALFA and our providers give to them. So I hope this helped you guys. We have some hearings on Monday and Tuesday. Now that the session is going, you'll start seeing more updates from us. It'll be on our YouTube channel. You know, we talked about putting it behind Arizona ALFA's locked doors, and we still may. I don't know. But if you're not a member, please get engaged. And if you're interested in public policy, let us know. If you have any comments about this video, any questions, let myself know. Obviously, it's been a long day. Let me know. Otherwise, you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you all soon.